Hello, welcome to Speakeasy.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jake.
We are the Dirt Road Men.
The Dirt Road Men.
My wife's dancing behind the chair. She's being weird. What's the matter? What's the matter?
I wonder if they can see me in the reflection.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
No, they can't see the bottom half of the glass over Steve and his bitches.
Ah, good.
Karen and Katie.
So you did name them.
Yeah, Karen and Katie.
Oh.
It was on a whim while Jake was fingering her skull hole.
Yeah, I remember.
So that was my wife, everybody. She's still just a disembodied voice. But, you know, whatever.
Do you want to like poke in and there, like Seth does?
She's not going to do that in her
Just kind of stand on your
I
tippy
could wave my hand.
Just kind of like stand on your tippy toes and wave at the camera.
I guarantee. Oh my god. That was a short joke.
Yeah, she got it.
You should probably go.
Hello.
That was almost a hand.
Look at that. We saw a hand. Okay. So today we're A-B comparing.
Oh man. Eagle Rare. With Wild Turkey 101.
This is particularly significant because national bird, almost national bird.
And your favorite whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what was your favorite whiskey and the whiskey that completely shook your entire world?
Yeah, the first whiskey to unseat it that's never been unseated. Jefferson came close. That's it. It's like this Jefferson. Well, now it's this and Long Branch and then Jefferson. But this, Jefferson, and then that. Long Branch has inserted itself in there. Russell's 10, I guess, has inserted itself in there, but it's still a 5. And two of those products that I just named are all made by the same freaking people.
Yeah.
So,
I think distillery-wise, Wild Turkey is probably your favorite distillery.
yes it is. Far and away. Everything to do with Wild Turkey Distillery is my favorite, makes it my favorite distillery. But they don't make my favorite bourbon. They just make most of my top 5.
I'll just read. I've never read the back of this.
So, what do you get on the nose of 101? Because, I mean, these are both kind of classic bourbons. Like, that's my benchmark for bourbon, is one.
Yeah, if you can't beat out... If you can't hold a candle next to Wild Turkey 101, don't even come at me with that stuff.
Yeah, like, I'll drink it if it's half-decent whiskey, but if it can't unseat 101, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's amazing.
Just your classic bourbon notes, a lot of vanilla, caramel.
Okay, so that has more of a vanilla.
Since having the Devil's Cut again, I'm able to actually get what is the wood nose that I'm smelling in it. It does. I am getting a lot of the nice oaky notes, and we're learning with you.
Yeah. You've watched 90% of our whiskey journey.
Before it was just like, is it good or is it crap? Mostly Jim Beam.
And we're the kind of guys that before we started really exploring, we found one thing we liked and we stuck with it.
Jim Beam.
Yeah.
For me.
Wild Turkey 101 for me, but also Jim Beam. Because Jim Beam was like $5 cheaper, and most of the time I was like, I'll just get some Jim Beam.
That might have been, well, I never...
Wild Turkey was like when I would treat myself.
Yeah. I could get, Jim Beam, a pack of smokes, and $10 in gas for $20.
Yeah.
So at the age of 20.
Here it's more of a honeyed sweetness than a vanilla sweetness.
Yeah.
I get Gala apples. Or Gala, or however I should pronounce that. Specifically, not like red apples. I definitely get a strong wood note. I barely notice the alcohol bite. And a really sweet finish. Having sipped on that. Let's trade.
That one's
This one's got a lot more of a punch, right on the nose.
yeah, right on the nose. And they're only 11% apart because this is at 90 proof and this is 101. So if you can do simple basic math, it's 11.
But not 11%.
No,
11 proof.
11 proof.
I'm going to count that as an issue in terms, not math.
5.5. 5.5%.
But other than that, I definitely noticed more vanilla than a honey. Red apples versus gala apples.
God, I smell good.
And the alcohol burn on the nose is harder to avoid. I noticed the difference in proof, which is weird, and I don't think it's just because of the difference in proof.
No.
I think it's masked differently because it's not aged as much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even just looking at these two side by side.
That one's darker
Yeah.
by a good margin.
Yeah.
Like the colorblind guy says it's darker, it's got to be darker.
Anything with you in colors, I just kind of take with a grain of salt.
Go to hell.
Your car was purple.
It was red!
You know what's funny though? You can't get purple. Like if you want to mix purple, it's like red and blue.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, definitely. I don't smell any alcohol on this.
There's a leather note on this. A light leather note that I don't get in Eagle Rare. That I noticed
There's
coming
that
off the heels
apple.
of Eagle Rare.
Apple and vanilla and caramel, like caramel
Caramel.
sauce.
That's the one of the flavors I couldn't put my thumb on in there.
Caramel sauce to get for dipping apples in. So that kind of sweet candy smell, but
The thing about wild turkey, though, the big difference
Ooh.
that I noticed when I taste it, right, is like Lagavulin 16, it hits the back of your tongue, and it feels like it takes off. It feels like it lights up almost. And then the second it hits the back of your tongue, it lights up the whole back of your mouth, and then kind of works its way forward on the finish. It's really good, and they attribute that to a rye flavor, and maybe the rye is more predominant, but they don't have a particularly high rye mash bill. Like, they have the same amount of rye as Jim Beam.
you know what's really cool about wild turkey though? They're they buy all their grains, their sugar and all that, all organic.
So if you care about that,
Yeah, if you're seriously worried about being organic and gluten free and all that,
whiskey in general is gluten free.
unless it has added colors, some of the
Okay,
coloring.
yeah.
But
So
yeah,
some scotches.
if you get a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey or anything bottled and bond or single barrel, especially single barrel, you're fine. If you're worried about possible gluten, I don't know of many U.S. distilleries that dyes their.
I don't know of any.
There probably is.
I'm sure there are some. I'm
Yeah.
just saying I don't know of them.
I don't, yeah.
I know Dalmore Scotch dyes their Scotch.
Yeah. To give it that nice. They have a really deep burgundy.
Yeah.
It's a really pretty color. You can figure out how to paint match that. That'd be neat.
Painting with bourbon colors.
What was the one we were talking about? We talked about that.
I don't remember. Now the gluten thing comes up because he did this research recently because he's been cutting out gluten due to stomach problems essentially, right?
Yeah.
Not just because you are being weird.
I'm not a hippie, I promise. I despise hippies.
He was having stomach problems and he decided to try cutting out gluten, and so far it's been a successful experiment.
Yeah, and this is the weekend after the 4th of July, and over the 4th of July weekend I had 3 little, probably $half sized lemon pie type things, whatever John had.
Tarts, yeah.
Tarts, lemon tarts, and they had just regular pie crust and 2 beers, 2 Miller Lights, and the next day my stomach was just like in knots. So,
yeah. Somebody I don't think I've talked about much on the channel before, Jordan Peterson, did another Joe Rogan podcast just like this last week.
okay.
And he talked about how he's been on like not just a carnivore diet, but like steak only, like beef only. That's it. And
Bring that up after the video.
he started out just cutting out gluten, and he noticed a big difference. And then like he ended up working his way to the paleo diet, and then his daughter got him to try the carnivore diet. But she didn't really have him try the carnivore diet. He skipped to just beef.
Which is cool.
And to get his fat, he's literally buying strips of fat at the butcher.
Really?
Yeah. He'll cut them up and cook them into like little crisps. And then he's been slowly trying to add...
or a pork rind kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's been slowly trying to add things back in to see what his body reacts poorly to and not. So,
okay.
So he's starting from that base, and then he's slowly adding things back in to see what messes with him. But if it messes with him, he waits a month before he adds anything new. Just to make sure there's a good gap.
Yeah, to even out, because when I was looking at first looking at going completely gluten-free, said, do 2 or 3 weeks and then like just try to add something back in. Well, I did a whole month just to try to get as much of it out of my system as I could, because it can take up to 2 years to get the protein completely out of your system.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did a month, and it was like I'm right at a month until last weekend, and or last Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know that's super off subject, but nonetheless, it was an interesting conversation. There's like a pinch note from that I've always attributed to more alcohol and rye. Because this is a wheated bourbon too. That is why I like Eagle Rare more. Like, I'm tasting it, and it's putting me off, and that's never happened before, but coming off the heels of the Eagle Rare, I think that's the striking difference that makes Eagle Rare better.
what?
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't blend it.
No, I'm not gonna blend it. Again, that does not go into cocktails.
Even if those cocktails are just different bourbon.
I have a little bit of basil Hayden.
Yep.
And then a little bit of
pepper.
A little bit of pepper. And then a little bit of Turkey 101.
Yeah. So anyway, I would still give Wild Turkey 101 a solid 9.5.
But 101 compared to Eagle Rare, you still like the Eagle Rare?
Oh, definitely. The Eagle Rare still comes out.
The nose, I can like when you open an oven, there's like definitely. I would like to try a 10-year-old Wild Turkey 101.
So you would like Russell's 10, but still at 101 proof?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what I noticed about Russell's 10, was it tasted... It had everything I liked about Wild Turkey 101, but it was more well-rounded, and it was richer. It wasn't as thin. And I never thought of 101 as thin, but tasting it now compared to this tastes considerably thicker.
Yeah.
Even though it's a lower proof, which means there's more water.
And that's something that you can't... There's been companies and people trying to figure out how to age, air quote, age whiskey faster. They're just trying to get it to move in and out of the barrels faster, and get the color and some of the flavor profiles of darker, older whiskey. But over time, your bourbon, your whiskey's gonna break down the cellular structure of the wood as it's moving in and out, and you're gonna get a lot of the flavors from that.
Yeah. So anyway, on comparison, if you were done.
Yeah.
Definitely I'd still pick the Eagle Rare. And now that I've A/B compared them, I know that it feels thicker, fuller. There's a pinch note that I can't quite pin down in the 101 that I don't like, and I think it's rye versus wheat. And for whatever reason, that slight difference in proof, I taste more. I taste the alcohol more in 101. And I don't know why that is. And so it's more difficult for me to get to the flavors behind the alcohol. And I don't have that problem here. I could sit and sip, and this could be a background whiskey as well. Like, you could drink this and have a chat and not think about what you're drinking.
You know what
Except
you're
that it's
drinking
glorious.
with. Yeah, and you definitely know what you're drinking with 101.
Yeah, 101, like I said, to me is the benchmark that bourbons must be measured against. So, but anyway, I think that's all we have for this video. Do you have anything else?
Nope.
Alright, till we see you again, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jake.
We are the Dirt Road Men. She can come down this time.
It's okay. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, drop us a comment, and check out our Facebook page for daily updates.